Hello, everybody. Welcome to another session with me. My name is Emilio Jose Garcia, and today we are going to be talking about declaring your intentions and connecting with your life vision. And if you don't have one, it's fine. We are going to learn today how can we get started creating our own life vision. Okay. Good morning, Anon. Good morning, CJ. CJ says, joining you with a yummy coffee in my journaling mug. It says, espresso yourself. Espresso yourself. I love it. I also have a coffee, guys. I'm enjoying also espresso. So, guys, let's get into the session with a little bit of the singing bowl. Okay. Wow. 2 a.m. with coffee also. Astrid from Australia, connecting from Australia, and it's 2 a.m. there. Thank you so much for making it, Astrid. It's amazing to see you here. Have been doing your course. Which one have you been doing, Astrid? What course have you been doing? I'm curious to know. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, guys, allow yourself to the decluttering course. Great. Okay, let's get into the practice. Please allow yourself to close your eyes if you can. If you are driving, please don't. Close your eyes, start breathing deeply, and just enjoy the sound of the singing bowl. And just connect with yourself for a few seconds. You can notice how you feel. You can notice how your body feels. If you feel any tension. And just breathe in and out. Just think about, why are you here today? Why did you decide to join this session today? Just remind yourself. I think it's important to set an intention. Maybe you want to learn something. Maybe you just want to be entertained. Maybe you connected with the title of the topic today. It doesn't matter what it is, just connect with the reason why you chose to be here today. Okay? Okay. Thank you for doing this practice with me, guys. It really helps me to transition into this talk with you, into this session with more awareness and more connection and grounded. So I feel very inspired to do this session today because I think I really believe that it is really, really important to set intentions, to declare the intentions that you have. Okay, even if you don't know how to make them happen, but intentions to me are, it's like setting the direction of your life, or directions, because our life has different areas that we all have to tackle. We all feel inspired to do. We want to grow, and all those areas combined create what your life is. And yes, life events happen and we are all busy doing things, but we have control over a lot of the things that happen in our lives. And we have the control to start directing our intentions in one direction or in another one. I have a couple of analogies here for you. One analogy is a sailing boat. Okay, so a sailing boat is on the sea. and it moves using the wind. The wind is the life, okay? Life flows, time comes and goes, and it just doesn't stop. It's like a constant flow of time, and you are in that flow, okay? You have 24 hours every day, and you use them in whatever way you are using them now. When you are on a boat, you have the wind blowing, and you have a sail that you can direct if you want to. Okay, if you don't do anything with the sail, the boat is just gonna keep sailing in no specific direction. The wind is just gonna keep blowing, right? And the boat is just gonna keep sailing in wherever it goes. Sometimes, if we don't set an intention or intentions in our lives, I feel that we are like that boat sailing with no specific direction. We are just moving, right? The wind is moving us constantly, but maybe we don't even know where we are going. If that's what you want, that's fine. If you want to just get lost and go wherever the wind takes you, then most likely you wouldn't be here. If you, on the other hand, maybe you are feeling frustrated, maybe you feel that life has more to offer, maybe you want to tweak what you do, maybe you want to grow in a specific area, then those are signs to me that you are seeking to find a different direction. You are seeking to move into a different direction with your life so that new things, new events, new experiences, new growth will happen. So that's like if you are on that boat and you set the intention of looking at a map, and then you say, I have this map, I am here, I have the compass, that's north, that's south, then you are going to start choosing where you are going to move towards. So that's your intention. Maybe you choose to go to Hawaii, or maybe you want to go to South Africa, or maybe you want to go to the Azores, or maybe you want to go to Spain. If you go there, please take me with you so that I can see my family. Okay? So you will choose a direction, and then you are moving intentionally towards that direction. That's your intention. Okay? But then that's not going to be a straight line. Okay? You are not just going to say, I'm going to go to Spain, and it's going to be a straight line from A to B. From where I am, I just choose a line, straight line, and I get there. No, you have to take in account the wind direction, storms that may appear. Sometimes there is no wind. Sometimes there are lots of waves and you have to change the course. So you are going to need to change sometimes directions, but you are always keeping in mind the outcome, the final destination that you are setting yourself towards. In life is the same thing. Sometimes life events happen. It's like a storm, and you just cannot go through that. Or maybe you have to change course for a little bit. Or maybe there is some work that you need to do to be able to keep going. But then at the end of the day, you always have the outcome in mind. Okay? Are you guys so far following me with this analogy? Or are you going crazy? Like, what are you talking about, Emilio? Because I use this analogy several times, and I always get people, they really understand the analogy, and I think it really represents what it is. So life keeps flowing, okay? And sometimes if we are not present enough, sometimes we find ourselves fighting the current of life, fighting the flow of life. And we are spending so much time, so much energy, so much fighting to get somewhere, but we cannot get there because life is just not going that way. This is the same way. Another analogy that I have is a surfer, okay? A surfer. The intention of the surfer is to get out into the sea to the right spot so that they can catch the wave, the flow of the current back to shore, and they can ride that wave. A good surfer will not just jump into the water and fight the waves. They will not do that because they understand, they are in tune with, they watch the ocean, they understand the currents, the waves, and they know that going through the waves is not the best way to go because they're going to be fighting. It's going to take a lot of energy and it's going to even be dangerous. No, they are looking, they are counting the number of waves. They know that they come in sequences, and they know that there is a channel normally that they can get through, and the current goes into the sea. So they get into that channel, the current takes them there, and then they get out of the current, and then they are at the right spot. Okay, that's another great example of how flow works, and how understanding your environment, understanding what's happening, can help you get where you want to go. So there is always intentionality behind all these examples. And life sometimes is the same. You have flow that is gonna be pushing you into a specific direction. And sometimes you can move that flow a little bit, or you can get out of it, but sometimes you are being pushed through it, and you have to just let go, allow yourself to finish that flow, and then get out of it. And this happens with, for example, a life event. I have a couple of friends now. Her mom lives out of town, so she fell, and now she needs constant help for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So the flow of their lives now for them is they have to be there all the time, and they cannot get out of that. That's what is happening. So in that situation, you can choose 2 things. 1, fight against it, be upset, and 2, look for options. What can I do? How can we make this happen? How can we facilitate what needs to happen? And this is very important. Sometimes something needs to happen, and it's gonna happen even you like it or not. Okay, but when that's done, then you can keep going towards your direction. Okay, so I feel that sometimes it's important for us to reflect about our lives and set a strong intention. How do you set a strong intention? It's by really allowing yourself a little bit of time to reflect and really think about, what do I want? What do I need in this area of my life right now? Okay? And then once you understand and connect with yourself, and you understand what you need and want, that's when you can come up with a sentence, with a word, with an affirmation, however you want to call it. But that's going to be your intention. Okay? So I have a few examples here that I did a few months ago. You want me guys to share them with you? Some of them, they are mostly for personal, but you can get an idea of what I mean by this. And when you have a strong intention, what's gonna happen is that you are going to feel inspired by it, because you are going to find those words impactful, powerful, motivating. Okay, so these are some of the ones that I brought for myself. So I want to be an ultimate lover, husband, dad, and friend. Okay, when it comes to husband, with my wife, I want to be an irresistible and loving husband. I want to be Samantha is my wife. I want to be Samantha's raving fan, best friend, and crazy romantic lover. So when I read that, it creates a kind of energy in me. It creates a kind of motivation in me. And I am going to start tuning into what can I do to become this person. Okay? When it comes to being a dad, for my daughter Eva, something that I brought was, I want to be Eva's fantastic, caring, and playful daddy. That's who I want to be for my daughter. So every time I think about my daughter, and every time I read this sentence to me, what am I most likely to be doing? Am I gonna be being this, or am I gonna just be procrastinating, not setting intentions? So this is what's important. When you come clear with what you need and you read this sentence, you are going to start thinking differently. You are going to start making different choices, and you are going to start setting intentions. So when I read, I want to be Eva's fantastic, caring, and playful daddy, so what can I do? My brain is going to start looking for, what can I do to become that? What can I do to be that person for Eva? Think about when you go to Google to search for something, Google is going to give you what you are searching for. Okay? So if you are asking for, how can I be a fantastic, caring, and playful daddy, Google is going to give you that answer. Okay? The answers that you are looking for. If you don't ask anything, you will get no choices. If you just ask how to be a dad, you're gonna get random stuff on how to be a dad. But the more intentional you are, the better answers you are going to receive from your brain. And the more you are going to tune into what you want to become. Okay? Another example. I want to be a curious and avid learner of new things. Okay? So I want to become that person. I want to be always curious. I want to always be learning new things. I want to always challenge myself intellectually somehow. Okay? So Amy is asking, are intentions different from affirmations? Amy, to answer your question about intentions and affirmations, I will say that an affirmation is the result of an intention, okay? Of course, you can read affirmations that are generic, but the most powerful thing that you can do is you sit with yourself, you think about an area of your life that you want to change, improve, tweak, nurture, and then you think about, connect with yourself, and then think about, what do I really want to make happen here? What is my ideal outcome here? Okay? And then how can I make that happen? And when you start thinking about that, that's when you will connect with an affirmation that makes sense to you. So when I was writing about what kind of dad do I want to be for my daughter, I didn't come up with this affirmation right out of the bat. I was thinking about, what kind of dad do I want to be? And then I was thinking, I want to be a dad that is fun. I want to make her laugh. I want to, when she's having a tantrum, I want to be able to distract her with something that she's interested with. I want to be able to give her as much love as I can in a caring way. So all those things, when I started to connect with those things, then I brought down, I want to be Eva's fantastic, caring, and playful daddy. That's what came out. This can change anytime you need to change it. It doesn't have to be set to stone, okay? You can revisit these things, these affirmations, and these intentions anytime you really want, because life changes really fast sometimes and really slow sometimes. So when to do that? When it feels right to you, okay? When you think, oh, I think it's time to create new energy here because what I'm doing is feeling stagnant. That's a good sign to me that maybe you have to revisit your intentions, okay? So another intention that I had, I want to be a source of inspiration for resilient living. So I want to be a source of inspiration for resilient living, okay? I want to be the intentional living master coach. I want to be an authentic and helpful worldwide influencer. I want to be an intentional and fulfilling lifestyle design coach. So these are things that I was telling myself, this is probably a year and a half ago. This was before I started Insight Timer, before I started doing these live sessions with you guys. These live sessions, guys, are the result of these affirmations, okay? I want to be a fun and engaging educator, okay? So guys, when I'm reading these sentences, I'm almost crying now because I'm reflecting about, wow, like when I wrote this, nothing of this existed. And now all these things are happening, okay? So this is the power of intentions. This is the power of being intentional with yourself, okay? This is the power of you reminding yourself of what's important in your life in a way that makes sense to you. Some people have a journal. Some people do a vision board, okay? What is a vision board? It's a board that you have in a place that you will see it every single day. And some people have pictures, they have sentences, they have objects. Some people have an altar. Some people have, it doesn't matter how you do it. As long as whatever you create, it's always reminding you of what you want to become, what you want to work towards, the intentions that you are setting for yourself. As long as you can remind yourself of that, the way of doing that, it doesn't matter. You can have a vision board, you can have an altar, you can have a journal, you can have a a nice drawing. So this is, for example, this is my life vision that I drew a while ago, okay? This is a life vision that I drew a while ago. So what do you see here? I drew this when Eva, my daughter Eva, was probably 4 to 6 months, I think, old she was. And I remember I went to a coffee place with her, and I sat on the table, and then she was in the car seat, kind of seat that she was sitting by herself there, and then she was playing with color pens. And then I started to do this, and I don't even know why, but I started to do this. I started to draw. And I started to draw, and then it came to me, like in the center, I have a heart, and I have my wife, Eva, my cat, and myself in the center of the page. And then to the left, I have a house. I want to have a comfortable and safe house. And then to the left, I want to always be growing, always be learning. So it's me going up the stairs, and it's me always evolving, intellectually speaking, okay? And then in here, I have money. So I have money, love, and time. So that means that when I put money, love, and time into the universe is going to reward me too. And then on the right-hand side, I have the things that I want to create. So in here I want to create courses. I want to create a book. I want to create audio content. And then I'm going to put that into the world. And then I drew a world here. Okay, and then a bunch of lines connecting my content to the world. That means that I'm impacting a lot of people everywhere in the world with my content, and I am helping them live better. And then in here I have me coaching people, me doing workshops, and then in return I receive money, I receive appreciation, and I receive energy and creativity. And with that, I have time to pursue my hobbies, to honor my boundaries, to have enough time to do what I like, and have a life that I love every single day. So that's the life vision that I drew a while ago for myself. It came naturally to me, so I didn't have to fight this. It just came. That's what I wanted to make, okay? Was this made before you and Samantha brought your book? No, Amy, this was after. We brought our book out a while ago, okay? But at the end of the day, this is just one way of doing it. You can do a drawing if you feel inspired. Just use your personality type. Use the things that you enjoy the most. If you are an artist, if you are creative, do something creative. If you are logical and methodical and analytical, do something that is analytical. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you can remind yourself of the things that are important to you, hopefully on a daily basis, okay? This is another example of setting intentions. And this is an exercise that was called core value exercise. And this was a core value exercise for couples. Okay, so we did this, my wife and I, together. So I remember this day. It was early in the morning, probably 7 a.m. on a summer day. It was really warm. We were sitting at the patio. The sunshine was shining on us, on our faces, and we had a coffee. And then we were just sitting together and brainstorming, like, what do we want our core value relationship to be? And then we started to write words, keywords that came up for both of us. So we want to be abundant. We have to have accountability. We want adventure. We want achievement. We want appreciation. We want community. We want creativity, curiosity, empathy, family. So we started writing keywords that made sense for us. And then she brought some, I brought some, and then we came with the ones that were shared. Okay? This is a joint vision, Tonya. This is basically my wife and I, we did a couple's joint vision. Basically, it's a great exercise for me to understand what her values are, what she values in life, what she's looking for, what she wants. And the same for me. I do the exercise separately, and then we come together. We compare it. And then we realize, wow, like you brought that, and that sounds really nice, and I don't have it on mine, so I want that in mine too. Or maybe say, you know what, that thing, I don't really relate to that, so I know that that's your own thing, but now I can support you with that because I know it's important to you. So it doesn't have to be all common. It's an exercise to help you become aware of what's important for each of you and how can you create intentions and affirmations that will help you move forward into that direction. Okay, so by the end of this exercise, we came up with 10 sentences. Okay, and then I'm happy to read some of them. We want to foster a safe community around us. We want to discover joy in everyday things that we do. We want to embody playfulness. We want to seek out collaboration with amazing humans. The freedom to live and work as we choose. So guys, we want to have the freedom to live and work as we choose. We don't want to be slaves of a schedule. We don't want to be slaves of a system that we cannot control. That's why we create our own business. That's why that was our intention. It doesn't have to be yours. It's our intention. To be resilient with anything that comes our way. So we try to be as resilient as we can. To promote habits that lead to better health. To serve others and to live simply. So those were 10 kind of commitments, or however you want to call it. But again, this is just an example of an exercise that you can do with yourself, or you can do with your partner, or you can do with your co-worker, or with your flatmate, or with your best friend. It doesn't matter how you do it. What matters is the intention that you put and what you get out of it. Because normally, doesn't matter what you do, when you are putting your intention to gain clarity, you are going to receive clarity. You are going to be more confident, and you are going to find deeper reasons of why you want to do the things that you want to do. Okay? Guys, another exercise that you can do if you don't know what your intentions are, if you don't know what you want to do in your life, you can do what's called a brain dump. Okay? A brain dump is just having a piece of paper in front of you, and it's doing the exercise of dumping everything that you have in your head in this piece of paper. Okay? I will invite you to don't focus on the details of things. Try to focus on the main categories that come up for you. Okay? Every time I do a brain dump with someone, I always guide them and I always help them find the main categories, because sometimes it's difficult. It's easy to get lost in the details of how to do things, the logistics, but I just want the big picture. Thank you, Astrid, the big picture. Okay, so I did this one a while ago, and these are the things that came for me that were important. So I have Kaboom program, I have a gift, that's a course that I was taking at the time. I wanted to create a new course, the decluttering course, actually, that is already created. Check this out, what I brought. I want to deal well with COVID-19 lockdown. Okay, that's what I brought to myself, because I was feeling down. I was in lockdown, I couldn't see my family, I couldn't see my friends, it was all difficult, couldn't go to the gym and play squash. My life was gone completely, like all of yours guys during COVID. So that's what I brought down. I want to deal well with COVID-19 lockdown. The result of that sentence was me joining a program called Kaboom. And in that program, I connected with a woman that she has a website. And in that website, I saw Insight Timer. And I thought, what is Insight Timer? And that's where I was introduced to Insight Timer, to this community. And that's when I decided to give it a try. So everything came out of one sentence. One sentence that I brought pushed me to do that program and pushed me to be open to new opportunities. So for me, COVID-19 was a time for generation, for creating something new, for learning something new, for spending more time with myself. We did a couples program. So that's the result of me writing that sentence. That was my intention. Okay? So that's another example, guys, doing a brain dump. It's very important sometimes to allow yourself the time to dump everything that you have in your head in a piece of paper, and then you will look at that piece of paper, and seeing those things from a distance is going to give you a lot of clarity. It's going to give you a lot of information. It's going to help you feel less stressed, because you are not going to forget things. You don't have 1,000 ideas spinning in your head. Now they are in paper. You can go back to that piece of paper, you are not going to lose it, and then you can start prioritizing. You can start reading those things to yourself and seeing how you feel. Okay, how do I feel when I read this thing? And how do I feel when I read this thing? And then you will start noticing the emotions that those things evoke on you. And when you start noticing those things, you're going to have more clarity about what's important and what's not. And it doesn't mean that you have to let it go, but it's not a priority right now. You can put it in pause. And now all of a sudden, if you had 10 ideas, 15 ideas in your head, spinning all the time, now they are structured. Now you allow yourself the time to decide, to check in with yourself, and to make priorities. And then you are setting intentions after that. Okay? Once you set those priorities, that's when you are going to set intentions. And then how do you set the intentions to practically do them on a daily, weekly, yearly basis, right? Because that's another thing. How can you make that happen, practically speaking? And that's when designing your ideal week comes in place. What do you want your week to look like? And then it's also important to think about, like, how often do you want those things to happen? So when you are setting intentions, you have to think about, okay, I have the intention of, I don't know, exercising, for example. Then the next step is, how often do I need that to happen in my life? Is that a daily thing? Is that a twice a week thing? Is that a once a month thing? You think about that, and then you do that for everything that you brought in that brain dump. If you have a learning how to play the piano, or whatever activity or task or learning opportunity you have in there, think about how often do you want to see that in your life. And then once you decide the frequency, it's gonna be easier for you to put that into your week. Okay? Of course, if you have 1,000 things that you wanna put in your week, they are not going to fit. But that's why designing your ideal week is such a powerful exercise, because it's going to invite you to prioritize. Because when you are trying to fit things in your week, the week only has 24 hours, 7 days. That's it. And you have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to grocery shop, you have to do the laundry, you have to take care of your family if you have one, etc., etc., etc. So when you put those things in there, you only have so much time left. So how are you going to use that time? That is your choice. Okay, that is your choice. And that's when you can set intentions. But until you get to that point, it's very difficult for you to maybe have clear intentions, because you don't know how to make them happen yet. And that's why the practicality of creating your week, thinking about the frequency, and actually putting it in your calendar is going to be key to start developing those new habits. Okay? So guys, it's been 30 minutes into the session. There are 15 minutes left. Let's do some questions, because I know I share a lot with you. I don't want to overwhelm you anymore. I want you guys now to ask me what's coming up for you. Do you have any specific questions? Are you feeling inspired to declare your intentions and to actually make them happen? And thank you so much. I see that you guys are sharing books. You are sharing a lot of stuff in the comments. Yeah, Creative Visualization Workbook. That's a book that Amy recommends. Amazing. So guys, how do you feel about declaring your intentions now? Do you feel more confident? Is this something that sounds really out there for you right now? Is this something that you are already doing? So where are you now? And it's okay, you can be anywhere you are, but where are you? Have you done this before? Are you new to this? Are you excited to give it a try? I have so many. You have helped me to make it more specific. Yeah, Astrid, when you have so many, then your job is to then prioritize. Your job is to write them all down in a piece of paper, all those conflicting intentions that you want to pursue. And then I don't know how your week looks like, but it's also good to become aware of how much time do you really have, okay? So once you know how much time do you really have, that's when you can start playing around with that. It's also important to become more efficient too. That's when organization and time management comes into play. When you design your week and you put in there the things that you have to do, the things that are non-negotiable, okay, then you can become more resilient about how can I make those things more efficient? How can I make those things, how can I get them done in less time? Okay, but it doesn't make sense to apply that formula to things that you don't have to be doing. And that's why intentionality means first, doing an inventory of the things that you are currently doing. Second, decluttering whatever you don't want to keep doing, whatever you can say no to. So you get to choose what do you say yes and what do you say no to. When you put all those things in the calendar, you are going to see how much time do you have actually available. And then take that brain dump that you did, those main categories that you have, your life intentions, and then look at them and look at how much time you have. And realistically speaking, think about every category that you have. How long is that gonna take you? How often would you enjoy doing that? Okay, and that's when you are going to be able to design a week that is gonna make you feel great. Okay, so I think I shared this before, but I created my ideal week not long ago, my new one, because I changed how my ideal week looked like, because my life situation changed and because it was time for me to set a more intentional decision on how my week looks like. Okay, so from that exercise, this is what came out. It came out a week where I have full control of when things happen. I do time batching, it's called. So basically I did an inventory first of everything that I was doing in a week. And then every time I do it, so I have to, what do I need to do in a week? I have to take care of my daughter, I have to cook and grocery shop, I have to work, I have to do the online work. So my work then was divided in 3 areas, okay? I divided my work in 3 areas. One area is online work, doing these live calls, doing online workshops, creating content, stuff like that. So that stuff happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are my online days, and nothing else gets put in there. I honor that need, and my wife understands that. Wednesdays is the day when we go to people's homes and we help them declutter and organize their homes. That's when we do it. My wife and I, we go together, and we only offer Wednesdays. Okay, and then Mondays and Fridays are fluid days, I call them. That means that I can decide what to do depending how I feel. I may do content creation, I may do something creative like creating a course, I may do something fun, go snowboarding if I want to. So I can volunteer, I can do whatever I feel like it. But now everything has a place, everything has an intention. And if someone calls us, we don't ask them, when do you want to work with us? We tell them, we have this availability on Wednesday. When works for you? And if they say, I can't, then we say, what the next Wednesday? Can you? No, the following Wednesday, can you? So that's how we set the intention, and that's how we honor what we need. Okay? So guys, let me see if I can see the chat again. So guys, what's coming up for you? And if you ask a question, please, can you repeat it in the chat, because the chat is just flying. So I have a hard time following the chat at the same time that I speak. So if you have a specific question, now is the time to share it in the chat, and I will be watching it. So some people are decluttering. Anak says to feel aligned. Monica says, thank you for sharing your schedules. So I appreciate your authenticity and passion. Thank you so much. How to manage very different goals with family? Great question, Tonya. When it comes to family, uh, doing the exercises that I talk about becoming aware of what the other person needs, is really important. One example of our own situation, my wife and I, as a family, when Eva was born, the first few months we were feeling a lot of frustration with ourselves and with each other because we didn't have clarity, and we were feeling that we were not pursuing our needs, we were not honoring what we needed, and we didn't really quite understand what each other needed. So that's when we got together, we did a creation together, we got in alignment with each other, we declared the intentions that we had as individuals and the intentions that we had as a family, and then we compared them, and then we created something common. And from that exercise, I learned that yoga was important for her, squash was important for me, she needed time with friends, and I needed too. She needs vacations by herself sometimes, like a week here and a week there, and I do too. So understanding those needs allow us to create a calendar, a schedule where we were on top of our responsibilities at the same time that we were honoring each other's space and time. So from that, we came with ideas like I cook one day and do the dishes, and then she does the next day. So we alternate days. From that, we divided our time with our daughter Eva in a sense that she knows when she's free and I know when I'm free, and we still do family stuff. But if nothing is going on, she knows when she can go to yoga, I know when I can go to play squash, I know when I'm gonna be by myself and when she's going to be by herself, and we don't have to ask each other anymore, we just know it. So those are some strategies that we create as a family. So I would recommend that you check in with each other, with the family members, like what's frustrating you, what do you need, what would you like to make happen, how can I support you, and then they will do hopefully the same for you. And once you understand what everybody needs and wants, maybe you won't get 100%, but even if you get 50%, 70%, that's way better than getting nothing. And seeing the other person trying to honor and support you as much as they can, and you doing the same for them, is going to create a deeper bond. It's going to allow yourself, guys, that your relationship is going to strengthen way more. Okay, but communication is really, really important. So Angie says, what are fluid days? Sorry, I missed it. Yeah, so fluid days, for me, that's a word that I just came up with, but you can call it flexible days, you can call it however you want. For me, fluid days, flexible days, are those days that I don't have anything set to stone in the calendar. Meaning I don't have to be in a specific place at a specific time. I do that on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Fridays and Mondays are fluid days for me. So I get to choose what I want to do when I wake up or the day before or wherever I want. And those are the days that I catch up if I am behind with work. Those are the days that I practice self-care, extra self-care, like going snowboarding or visiting with a friend, or maybe reading a book or watching movies, relaxing. Maybe I cook, maybe, I don't know, whatever I feel like it. So those are the days that I do that. I let my creativity and my energy cycle tell me what to do, rather than me imposing myself to do something specific. Okay? So just want to share the power of this session. Last night I almost relapsed. I woke up scared. Now I have a clear intention. I want a safe, sober, peaceful, productive day. I trust the flow. I do not fight the current of life. I will be with what is exactly as it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Amy, for sharing that. Robert says, how do I know what is my will and what is God's will when setting an intention? What I want and what it's meant for me aren't the same. How can I know? So Robert, you are asking, how can I know when it is my own will, or when God, the universe, something more powerful than you is choosing something for you? I would say when life is choosing for you, a life event, something is happening, and I would say that it's very important for you to be in tune with yourself. When you allow yourself time for reflection, time to really think about the things that you really want, really connect with those intentions, and why do you want those things? What are the intentions behind you wanting to do X, Y, and Z? When you are in that journey, sometimes you are going to be doing something pushing towards a direction, but sometimes you are going to notice that life is going to gently push you into a different direction, or sometimes it's gonna just be like a and then you feel like, wow, I am fighting against the current here. When that happens, that's a sign that maybe you have to check in with yourself again and really think about, why is it so difficult? What am I working against here? Sometimes you can set an intention, you can create your ideal week, and then life happens and you have to do something different. But you will know when that's the case, and you will know, okay, this is an emergency, or this is something bigger than me, and I have to attend this now. So you will do that. But then when that's done, you will come back to your intentions, or you will reflect and you will tweak your intentions in a way that they make sense to you, because you evolve as a person, and your intentions, your needs are going to evolve with you. And when that happens, you need to honor that too, and you need to change and evolve with your needs. Okay, so I don't know if that makes sense to you, but sometimes it happened to me. Sometimes we are so attached to what we have created, we are so attached to what we really want, that we cannot see what's in front of us. We cannot see that life is taking us in a different direction, that we are supposed to do something different, and we are not even being curious about exploring that opportunity or that idea. That's why when you practice self-care, I normally find that happening to me when I am doing something fun. When I am biking, rollerblading, playing squash, going snowboarding, in those moments, that's when I am playful Emilio, that's when I am relaxed Emilio, that's when I am having fun. In those moments, a lot of information comes to me. Lots of answers, lots of ideas for courses, ideas for creating stuff, ideas on solving problems that I have with my wife, with my friend, with whatever it is. In those moments, that's when I receive a lot of information. And that's me connecting with myself. And that's me understanding why things are happening and what can I do to follow the current rather than fight against it. Okay? So I hope that this helps you a little bit with your question. Yeah, so those are my 2 cents about that. Again, every if I had you in front of me, Robert, I will ask you more specifics, right? I will ask you, what do you mean exactly? What is the specific thing that you feel you are feeling resistance to, or that maybe it's been imposed on you? And then we can dive deeper into that, right? But right now, with the information I have, that's the general kind of idea. But sometimes I also want to say, Robert, and for all of you, sometimes you set an intention, okay, and it feels that you are fighting against the current. Sometimes it is not true, okay? Sometimes you are fighting against your resistance. You are fighting against your fear, against your limiting beliefs, against your comfort zone. And that's why it's so important to be in tune with yourself, to be able to identify when you have to keep going or when you are supposed to let go and let things happen. Okay, so that's why you have to learn that balance of being strict and confident, but also being flexible in a way that when things change, you are able to see them and you're able to evolve. It's like water. When water is going down the river and there is a big rock, water is not trying constantly to like break that rock. It's just gonna, oh, there is a rock, I can go through it, I cannot go over it, I'm gonna go around it. And that's what happens, right? It's just that dance. It's like a boom, boom, okay, I go, and then it goes down, right? It's just a gentle, flexible kind of turn. So try to do that with your life. Try to always, like, when you are facing something, it's like, okay, what's happening here? What's going on? Allow yourself time to breathe, to connect with your emotions, with your feelings. And then from that place, you're gonna know, okay, yeah, I have to keep going. This is my resistance. I have to keep working through this. Or, no, I don't have to keep doing this. I think there is a better way. I can just do this. It's easier. And I will still get where I want to go. Okay, but yeah, this is, of course, this is the most challenging part for all of us. Changing is difficult because we face our resistance, we face our normality, our routine, the thing that we have repeated for months, years, sometimes even decades. Okay, so you have to be gentle and patient when you are trying to change. And that's why having your intentions and having your light vision, having something to remind you of the things that you want and why do you want them, and read them and get you inspired and motivated, those are necessary to give you that momentum that you need to push through those uncomfortable feelings that you may experience sometimes. Okay, okay guys, time is up. Really happy, yeah, really happy to have you guys here. If I want you to take something away from this session, from today's session, is this: allow yourself the time to connect with your intentions, to connect with the things that you really want. Do whatever exercise you feel inspired to do: a brain dump, a mind mapping, a drawing, a bullet point list, whatever you want. Make sure that you allow yourself the time to express yourself, what you need, what you want, why, the reasons. And then from there, try to create an affirmation, a word, a sentence that defines the person that you want to become in that area of your life. And then once you have that, put it in a place that is very visual. Every day you will see that. And share that with the people that you love, people you live with, your family members, your partners, sons, daughters, parents, whatever, you know what persons you have around you. Do that with them too. Invite them to do the same exercise and exchange the information and start supporting each other more and more. This is an opportunity for you to be more intentional, for you to allow other people to be more intentional, and then for you guys to keep each other accountable, support each other, and start dancing in that life flow that we are all into with more intention. Okay, so that's the thing that I want you guys to take out of this session. Even if you only get a sentence, even if you can only think of one area of your life, don't overwhelm yourself trying to do too much. Just choose what your gut feeling is telling you and just start doing something about it. Okay, how long would you advise we do this for, the visualization? So Sam, it's very personal. You can do it every day. Like, the more you do it, the more powerful it's going to be. Okay, sometimes you take a lot of time to get clarity, and then once you have the clarity, then you set yourself on track, and then you know what you want, and you remind yourself every day, and you don't maybe need as much. But sometimes you are facing resistance and other people and dynamics, and then you need to remind yourself more of why you are doing this, and then connecting with that new identity, that new intention. It's important to be able to connect with that from an emotional aspect, from with your emotions and feelings, not with your mind. And when you can do that, you are going to set yourself up for success, because you're going to be opening up for opportunities, to have more intentional conversations, to say no to things that don't matter to you, and to start honoring what you really want, and to start expressing those things with clarity, and creating healthy boundaries and everything that needs to happen for you to be able to move forward towards that direction. So how long? 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes every week, whatever feels good to you. Put a reminder in your calendar and just check in with yourself. The more you do it, the more powerful it's going to be, and the more deeper you are going to be able to go. Okay, in our case, for example, I do what I call a creation. I do it every few months. Sometimes it's every 6 months, sometimes it's every 3 months, sometimes it's once a year. It depends. When I feel stagnant, when I feel lacking direction, when I feel frustration, that's when I will decide to do it. And same with my wife. When we feel that we are being frustrated with each other and things are not working, we will come back to the ideal week exercise, and we will both sit together and say, what's going on? What do you need? I need to go to yoga on Wednesday night. Okay, let's make it happen. How can we make it happen? Let's tweak our week to make that happen so that you feel better. How can I support you? How can I honor you? And vice versa. Okay? So you are an inspiration, Emilio, putting in the work to design the life you love. Yeah, Ella, of course, it's a constant work, okay? It's a constant progress. This is not something that is going to happen overnight. The more you do it, the better your life is gonna get. That's the truth, okay? So just get started now, and then you will start seeing changes. Okay, guys, let's transition out of the session now. I invite you to close your eyes if you can, sit comfortably, and then take a few deep breaths and just focus on the sound of the singing bowl. Thank you guys so much for being here today. As always, love your energy, your presence. Next week, I have 2 sessions that are going to help you doing a brain dump and then a mind mapping. So those 2 exercises are going to help you take this to the next level. So make sure that you join. That's in 2 weeks, actually. Sorry, in 2 weeks, I will have those 2 exercises. You also have courses from me on Insight Timer, so make sure that you check. I have a self-care one, I have a minimalism one, and I have a decluttering one. So make sure that you check those courses to keep working towards whatever you want to create in your life. And I hope to see you next week on Tuesday. Okay? Have an amazing weekend, and thank you so much for being here. Adios.